on the eve of the shooting, all with a view of the concert. Also, the gunman's girlfriend back in the U.S. tonight being questioned by the FBI, pushed in a wheelchair through the airport. What has she revealed? Did she know anything? Our team standing by. President Trump here in Las Vegas, what he said about the survivors, the wounds he saw firsthand, and what the president is now saying about gun control. A major new tropical system closing in on the American coast, potentially bringing hurricane winds, the possible paths from the Gulf all the way to the Northeast. In New York City, new surveillance just released. The bomb suspect allegedly carrying 2 concealed devices through one of the busiest train stations in America. And the mother put behind bars tonight after refusing to vaccinate her son. It's now believed he will be vaccinated while she's locked up.
From ABC News, this is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir, reporting tonight from Las Vegas.
Good evening on this Wednesday night from Las Vegas. And as we come on the air, we are following breaking news. ABC News has learned of the gunman's extraordinary planning, possibly checking into multiple hotels before the attack, all within shooting distance of that concert site. Just as we also see the police response through their body cams. The officers taking cover, then jumping into action, trying to help the thousands running for their lives. And inside that hotel room, images of his deadly arsenal. 23 weapons, hundreds of rounds of ammunition. And we have new reporting tonight on the security guard, the first person to get to that hotel hallway, to the door of that hotel room, before the gunman shot him right through it. That guard still able to tell police he'd found the gunman. ABC senior national correspondent Matt Gutman leading us off again tonight.
Tonight, police body cameras reveal officers risking their own lives amid unceasing gunfire.
Hey, you guys, get down! Go that way! Get out of here! There's gunshots coming from over there! Go that way!
With sirens blaring and bullets flying, officers huddled behind a wall trying to pinpoint the source of the mayhem.
North of the Mandalay Bay is coming out of a window. Go.
Exhibiting extraordinary calm, those officers directing concertgoers away from the shooting to safety.
This way, this way, this way, this way, this way. Go, 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 go. That way, that way, that way, that way.
It would be an hour before SWAT teams breached Stephen Paddock's luxury suite. He'd been holed up with that massive arsenal, 23 guns in all. And tonight, these photos revealing their destructive power. This assault rifle, one of 12 outfitted with an attachment called a bump stock. It allows the gun to fire continuously like an automatic weapon. This video demonstrating how it works. On the tip of the rifle, a flash hider, making its fiery blast difficult to spot. And in the corner, a pile of 17 magazines holding 100 rounds each. You're looking at 1,700 bullets. Paddock also installing his own surveillance system. A camera hidden on his room service card, another behind the peephole looking down the hall. All rigged so he could see police approaching. And now we are learning he spotted a hotel security guard.
He was advancing towards the room when the suspect fired through the door at the security guard and struck him.
Tonight, that security guard identified as Jesus Campos and hailed as a hero. Somehow, he was able to get away and tell the tactical team that Paddock was in room 135. An hour later, they breached the door.
Breach.
And discovered him already dead. Tonight, federal law enforcement sources telling ABC News they're investigating reports that the day before the massacre, he checked into multiple hotels overlooking the concert venue. And he may have looked for other opportunities. Federal sources say he looked into renting a room in this building right next to another music festival just the week before. And from this perch, you would have had a clear field of fire right down into those tens of thousands of people packed into that concert below. But for some reason, he didn't pursue the plan. Instead, he waited a week for the Harvest Festival.
And Matt Gutman joins us live tonight here in Las Vegas. And Matt, we now know he may have had several hotel options for this attack, ultimately spending more than 3 days in the Mandalay Bay Hotel here right behind me. And you're learning what he might have done the day before?
That's right, David. We're learning he wasn't just shuttered up in that luxury suite in that hotel. Now, law enforcement hasn't weighed in on this yet, but I spoke to a casino worker who said they saw him play high-stakes video poker for 8 continuous hours the morning of the attack, 16 hours that weekend. And what makes this so disturbing is it means he was milling about with the public at that hotel out in the open for days before the attack. David.
Matt Gutman leading us off tonight. Matt, thank you. And the other major development, the gunman's girlfriend. She is back in the U.S. tonight, being questioned now by the FBI. Her brother telling ABC News that she assured her family she has a, quote, clean conscience. But tonight she remains a person of interest as they now ask how the gunman assembled such an arsenal without anyone noticing. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross.
Tonight, just 12 hours after she arrived on a flight from the Philippines, the shooter's longtime girlfriend, Mary Lou Danley, told the FBI, according to law enforcement officials, that she had no knowledge of his plans or his purchase of so many guns. Her lawyer read her statement after the FBI session ended.
He never said anything to me or took any action that I was aware of that I understood in any way to be a warning that something horrible like this was going to happen.
Danley had been Paddock's live-in girlfriend for at least 3 years. He met her when she was a casino hostess. They gambled together, playing video poker slots. Investigators want to know if he went along when she traveled to Dubai, where she posted this smiling photo. According to her sisters in Australia, who wanted their faces blurred, no one knows more about Paddock.
No one can put the puzzles together, no one, except Mary Lou.
The sister said it was Paddock who sent her to the Philippines just 2 weeks before the shooting.
He sent her away so that he can plan what he's planning without interruptions.
Authorities now are putting together a psychological profile of the shooter, a 64-year-old one-time accountant and IRS agent who claimed to be a multimillionaire. But investigators say a picture is emerging of a man descending into madness, losing weight, diminished physical appearance, what are described as crazy eyes. Coupled with easy access to the powerful weapons he began to accumulate more than a year ago, a deadly combination.
Brian Ross with us live from New York tonight. And Brian, we heard your report there. The shooter's girlfriend spent hours today talking to the FBI, but she is denying knowing anything about this plot.
Yes, David, officials say she claims she had no idea about the dozens of guns her boyfriend bought over the last year. And as you said, her brother tells ABC News she told her family she has a clean conscience, David.
Brian Ross and your team, we thank you again tonight. President Trump, meanwhile, was here in Las Vegas today. It is the first time he's had to visit the scene of a mass shooting, meeting with survivors. What he said to doctors and nurses here, and what he's now saying about gun control. ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega, also here in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas today, President Trump in a new role, comforter-in-chief. With the First Lady by his side, their first stop, the hospital treating dozens of patients still fighting for their lives.
Some were very, very badly wounded, and they were badly wounded because they refused to leave. They wanted to help others because they saw people going down all over. And it's an incredible thing to see. There's tremendous bravery.
The focus on those survivors, but this was also a thank you tour.
It makes you very proud to be an American when you see the job that they've done.
At the command center, surrounded by first responders, the president praising their heroism, like these dispatch operators who answered those frantic calls for help.
Calm and strong, sharp.
For the shooter, he had harsh words.
He's a sick, demented man.
And for the nation, a message of unity.
America is truly a nation in mourning.
And hope.
Americans defied death and hatred with love and with courage.
But as the debate about guns in this country grows louder, the president himself not willing to go there, not today.
Gun violence problem.
We're not going to talk about that today.
And Cecilia Vega joins us live tonight. And Cecilia, the president said any discussion about guns will come down the road today. But on Capitol Hill today, there was already a lot of focus on what are called bump stock attachments that Matt reported on there that can essentially turn assault rifles into automatic weapons when they're attached. And there is word tonight that Senator Dianne Feinstein and at least 2 Republican lawmakers are already talking about legislation to ban them.
Yeah, David, a handful of Senate Republicans seem open to the idea of holding hearings on this subject. A similar movement is afoot in the House right now as well. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says it's premature to be talking about this, David. A vote seems like a long way off.
Cecilia Vega with us here in Las Vegas tonight. Cecilia, thank you. There was an extraordinary moment that played out here today after an interview we brought you last night here A son who was at the concert for his 21st birthday. He was shot and then saved by a young man who held pressure to his wounds all the way to the hospital, staying next to him in the ER. He told us he wanted to meet that hero, and someone heard that last night. Tonight, hear the list of heroes and what happened in that very same hospital room today. Tonight, the news stories now emerging of the quiet heroes who saved so many lives here. Mike Kordick, a firefighter, was giving CPR to someone when he was shot in the arm.
I kept doing chest compressions with one arm until I noticed I was starting to bleed a lot.
Nurse Natalie Vanderstay hit by a bullet and shrapnel. Concertgoers driving her to the hospital, keeping pressure on her wounds.
If it wasn't for that cab driver, I wouldn't be here. So, and I don't know who he is.
There was 5-year-old Aiden Huser, separated from his mother when the shooting began.
I lost her, and I think that I didn't know where to run.
When a stranger, Lindsay Rogers, saw him standing alone, she stayed by his side.
He was really brave and really good.
Lindsay and a friend posting this photo of Aiden on Facebook. His relatives saw it. He's been reunited with his mother. And it was last night here, we walked into that room at Desert Springs Hospital Medical Center here in Las Vegas, where Sheldon Mack is recovering. Sheldon, he was at the concert for his 21st birthday.
I just keep seeing it in my mind still, and it's just haunts me.
You see it all playing out still?
Yeah.
He told me about the man who he says saved his life.
Some hero come and save me and throw me and take care of me.
That hero holding his finger to the bullet wound, helping him, and never leaving his side.
The guy who was by your side, you haven't been able to find out where he is, who he is.
Yeah, I need to. I owe him a beer at least. But yeah, I really appreciate all he's done for me.
That's a pretty good trade-off.
Sheldon's parents telling us they want to meet that hero.
He's an angel and saved him. We'd love to find that fellow. Apparently he was shot in the leg as well.
And it turns out friends of that hero were watching the news last night. Jimmy Grovum, a 25-year-old paramedic from Orange County, California, was here in Las Vegas visiting. And today, he paid another visit, walking into that room on crutches. Jimmy revealing he knew Sheldon was in trouble after being shot in the arm and then the bullet piercing the abdomen as well. And he rode with him in a truck all the way to that ER. Sheldon's mom, grateful.
Of course.
And afterward, there was one more reunion in that same room. Eric Frazier, the Marine vet who drove both Jimmy and Sheldon to the hospital. It turns out that Marine vet rushed a dozen victims to the ER that night. And tonight, the survivor's family and the hero's family, all together after the horror. And by the way, Sheldon's dad told us tonight that his son told his hero, Jimmy, he's going to make good on that promise of a beer, and soon. And while the president was here in Las Vegas today, he was also asked about something else, about a report that his Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, called the president a moron after a national security meeting. The president's response today, and the Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson himself, coming before the cameras today. Here's ABC's Chief Global Affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, tonight.
Secretary of State Rex Tillerson today making a rare impromptu appearance.
There were some news reports this morning that I want to address.
A report rocketing around Washington. NBC News reporting Tillerson had called Trump a moron last July after a national security team meeting and was then on the verge of resigning.
The vice president has never had to persuade me to remain as Secretary of State because I have never considered leaving this post.
And that report of calling the president a moron?
Could you address the main headline of this story that you called the president a moron? And if not, where do you think these reports or...
I'm not going to deal with petty stuff like that. I'm just not going to be part of this effort to divide this administration.
Not a flat-out denial, but his spokesperson later more definitive.
He did not say that.
The full court press pleasing the president.
Yeah, I'm very honored by his comments. It was fake news. It was a totally phony story. Thank you very much. It was made up. It was made up by NBC. They just made it up. Thank you all. Thank you. Total confidence in Rex.
But Trump and Tillerson have appeared at odds with one another recently, just last weekend after Tillerson